All right, welcome to week 9. Can't believe it's number 9. Let me mute that. That'll drive everybody crazy to have my echo. Week 9, we're in Lubbock, Texas, live at Brick and Loft Realty, my real estate brokerage here in town, and we're going to talk about some good stuff today. The class is going to be a little bit shorter today, unless anybody has questions, we can fill in the time. And last time, I actually met that goal. I finished like with 20 minutes to spare, and then we had several questions, and then we went all the way to I think there was like 3 or 4 minutes left. But today's even going to be a little shorter. So if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about over the 9 weeks, go ahead and ask me, and I'll try to answer it. I can't guarantee I can answer it, but I will do my best. Okay, so thanks again for everybody that's in Maui making this happen, and then everybody here in Lubbock making this happen. This is so awesome. I've had such a great time interacting with you guys. I've had so many great questions. Today I had a lot of questions come through the Circle app, so please continue to use the Circle app. Even after this is finished, we have one more after this. Even after the 10th one is finished, please just continue to reach out on the Circle app, and I will continue to answer your questions. Just remind me that you are part of the Better Life Masterclass, and I will answer your questions. So, excuse me. We have escalated all the way through the last 8 weeks, getting to week 9. We started out with better education, better data, better strategies and assets, better math, better debt, better teams, better leadership, better marketing, specifically with social media, better networking. That was last week. And I got a lot of questions about that. I got a lot of questions, or not questions, just comments, just like kind of some thank yous, because there's a lot of introverts out there like me, and a lot of people just felt that I encouraged them a little bit. So that was really awesome. Thank you for sharing that with me, because it's really hard to not feel like an imposter or just feel intimidated by other people for us introverts. So it was great to hear from you guys. And then today we're going to talk about better property project management, but really it's going to roll up into property management. It's the toughest part of owning real estate, in my opinion. Real estate's fantastic, so many great things about it. Property management, though, is the worst part for me. It's thankless. Tenants are mean and rude, and a lot of the times, not all the times. Sometimes you have great tenants, but it's hard to run a property management company and understand that there are some boundaries. Not everything's an emergency. We all have lives. They have needs. We want our time. And it's a constant battle. It's almost as if like you're working or running a hotel, and people think that you should be available 24/7 for everything. And that's just not the case with real estate. And you have to train your tenants and your property managers to have boundaries with that. I could never find good property management here. So I started my own company 12, 13 years ago, after I had enough doors that I couldn't do it by myself. So I started my own company, hired my first employee, I think back in 2012, and it's fantastic. And just grew the company from there, managed my own doors, and then I leverage managing other people's doors so I can get mine managed for the income that comes in from managing other people's doors. So I get mine essentially managed for free, and taking the income from that to pay my people. And it's gotten pretty big. It's a pretty, at one point it was 700 or 800 doors managed, and we've dropped to probably about 500, and that's on purpose. We're very picky with what we manage. We used to manage anything that came through the door, and now we have boundaries on what we want to manage and certain types of clients we want to manage, all within fair housing, of course. But there's just some things that we don't touch. Dangerous homes, dilapidated homes, unreasonable clients. It's just nice to run a company that way. So, but first we're going to talk a little bit about just a business plan around what you're thinking. And I always talk, the last 9 weeks I've talked about this. when you're running a real estate or buying real estate, you want to run it as a business, even if you have one house. And if you do that, you're far better off and you highly likely to grow from there rather than just having it as a hobby. Otherwise, it's just going to be a hobby and you're not going to take it as serious. So I highly recommend you incorporate, get an entity, and run it as an actual business, even if you have one house. So before we get into property management, I'm just going to go through some project management and just some housekeeping things on how you should run your business a little bit. And then we're going to spend most of the time just on what you look for in the right property manager. And I'm going to tell you just a lot of stories on what we've done and how we run our businesses. And hopefully you guys can get some insight on that, because I'm sure everybody has struggled at one point or another with their property manager, and you probably fired a property manager, or a property manager has stolen from you or isn't transparent with you, and it's extremely frustrating. And you could have the best piece of real estate in the world with the absolute best tenant, but if it's poorly managed, it's a loss. So property management is the backbone of any successful real estate portfolio. So this is very important stuff. So you want to have a very solid business plan. Before starting your business, it's important to create a detailed business plan and outline your goals, strategies, and financial projections. That's what the first 8 weeks have been about. And this will help you stay on track and measure your progress. If I've stressed it so many times that even with one house, run it like a business. It's so much better for your overall growth. Pages are stuck together. Real estate project management involves a lot of moving parts, so many moving parts, and a lot of people. We use a lot of VAs to help with this. We have boots on the ground, we have contractors, we have full-time maintenance staff, we have real estate agents, bookkeepers, everything. So it's essential to have a team of skilled professionals who can handle all the different aspects of the project. So like if you're flipping, if you need an architect for high-level flips, contractors, attorneys, CPAs, real estate agents, lenders, insurance experts, wholesalers, CPAs, I think I said CPAs twice, property managers, partners. We talked about a lot of this in teams. The people that you're surrounded with are going to make or break the success of your company. So I'm going to repeat myself again. So hire smart. Don't just hire the family friend or your brother-in-law because it doesn't work. Try to avoid that. Just hire the best person that's also the best fit for your company. And same with everybody you're using as a contractor. Hire the best. Like for instance, here's a good example. I am a lawyer. I've been a lawyer since 2010, but I don't do my own legal work. I hire a lawyer in town who is the best lawyer in town to do all my legal work. I'm not going to do that on my own because I'm busy building my businesses. I hire an expert because I'm not an expert in some areas of the law, and he is. So hire the best for what you're trying to do. Same with your CPA. Hire the best CPA. Hire the best insurance person. Use the best lender. Use the best real estate agent. Use the best wholesaler. There's so many shady wholesalers. They're the worst. Get the good ones that are honest with you. So that's the strong team that I'm talking about, because that's going to help you with your overall project management. And use software. Don't at the very beginning, I just use Excel for everything and Google Sheets, and it was a train wreck. So the best property management software that I've come across, and I've tried several, is Appfolio. I've talked about Appfolio before. Appfolio is definitely on the higher end on cost, but they are amazing. The software is amazing. The accounting features are amazing. You can run syndications through it, through their investment arm. They have the maintenance calls. They have the maintenance center. They're using AI maintenance now. There's just so many really cool things about Appfolio. It is the premium. It is the most expensive, but you get what you pay for. There's been a few others that I have liked. Buildium is pretty good. There's a couple others, but most of the others are just trash, and I would just focus on what the better ones, and Appfolio is by far the best. I also use Asana for all my just projects. It's really intuitive. It's easy to use. Everybody can have a login. It's very cheap. I think for like a dozen team members, we're only paying $1,300 or $1,400 a year for Asana, and it's just a great way to just track your projects and keep everybody on the same page, and so everybody knows what's happening. You can pass off everything as you go. There are many software tools available that can help you manage your real estate project more efficiently. Scheduling software is good. I use Calendly. You guys probably have seen that. Budgeting tools are great. Collaboration platforms, that's Asana. Google Sheets is great for that too. Dropbox is great. These tools can help you stay organized, communicate with your team, and track all of your progress. You want to track your progress. Just like in the book Traction, the EOS system, you want to track everything, make sure it's good. Some of the other softwares we use are Property Base for our brokerage, OpCity for our brokerage. For my real estate investor retreat network, I use a company called Lightspeed VT. It's really in its infancy, but I'm really loving the software. It's pretty amazing, and I'm really excited for that to launch soon. And then stay up on industry trends. Real estate is constantly evolving. We know that with rates. We know that with market prices. I love seeing the memes of people just continuing to wait for either rates to drop or prices to drop or both, and people thinking when rates drop, prices are going to drop, and it just baffles me that they think that if rates go down to like 4 or 5%, that real estate prices are just going to go down. It's just crazy. You guys don't think that way. I hope nobody on this class is thinking that way after 9 weeks of me talking about this stuff. That is not going to happen, guys. It's just not going to happen. So rates might go down, but prices are not going to go down, especially in the prices of houses you should be buying. If rates go down, guys, the market's going to flood with everybody else that was waiting for rates to go down, which means demand's going to go up, which means prices are going to go up. It's just market demand, common sense. So it's just crazy that people still are thinking that way. So just keep up on industry trends, watch what's happening, pay attention to your market. If you're a real estate agent or you have access to the MLS, run comps on the neighborhoods you like to buy in and see how they're trending. I told you about some of the new construction that I'm buying. Here's a cool story about, and this is why I'm aggressively buying these new construction houses, is that it's from a big builder here in town. It's not the best builder, but it's a good enough builder for long-term wealth creation. So these houses I'm buying, they're 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, all brick, 6,000 square foot lot. Some of them are a little bit smaller. Most houses are between 1,500 and 1,700 square feet. I buy them with turf in the front and backyard, so no sprinkling system, nothing to water, and I'm getting them for about $220,000. So I've been talking to a lot of the builders, and they don't open these up to investors all the time, but I've bought so many of them that I just continue to get the deals, which is awesome. So, but $220,000, which is about $130 to $140 a foot, is what I'm getting these for, which is unreal for new construction. The problem is this big builder, they can't lay off workers. They have to keep building. They're not making money, a lot of money on selling these houses at the price they're building them for, but they can't build them for more because the market rates, the market valuation from the appraisals have not caught up. So if they were to sell them or try to build them and sell them for $270, $280, which is what they want to do, the appraisals are going to come in short because the bank is not going to lend on it because the bank is looking at a 6-month look back on appraisals. So I'm thinking, and this is why I'm buying so many, is I feel like I truly am buying $220,000 houses that in 6 months even, or even a year or whatever, once market rates do catch up with the appraisals, the 6-month look back, that they're going to be $270 or more. So I feel like every house I buy, right off the bat, I have $50,000 of built-in equity that's just going to skyrocket from there. And when I first got out of law school, the first house I bought was a new construction house, and I paid $120,000 for it. That was in 2010. Brand new construction in a good area. And that's another thing. These houses that I'm buying is in a good area, good school district as well. So I bought the house right out of law school for $120,000. That same house today, 13 years later, they're selling for $270,000. It's unreal. So when I talk about like prices and rates, I'm talking about like the national median and below. I'm talking about 350 and below. Our market, it's more like 300 and below or 250 and below. Because I get these nasty messages from people. I'll comment on a lot of these memes and try to like weigh in on the fact that if rates go down, prices are actually going to go up. And then I get somebody almost every day in the comments telling me about the $900,000 houses in their neighborhood. Like, that's not the houses I'm talking about. The luxury markets, $8-9 million, those are going to fluctuate all the time. I'm talking about the houses most investors should be buying where you can actually cash flow or come close to cash flowing with today's rates. So it's so funny that they take out of context completely what I'm saying and just try to throw around the $1 million houses that used to be 700,000. It just baffles me. So anyway, that's not the houses I'm talking about. I'm talking about the houses that you should be buying as investors that are going to make you the most money. I'm not talking about the $1 million houses that used to be $700,000, because those very much could go down. Okay, focus on customer service. You just want to be that business that everybody wants to do business with. I'm not going to read this. This is a no-brainer. You just want to be the person, and really I'm getting into property management because it's so thankless. You just want to be that company that people want to go with. That's the last slide, but I have a document that I'm going to pull up that I'm going to go over, and I'm going to talk about what you guys want to look at in a property management company. And that's what we're going to spend a lot of our time on today. So just bear with me one sec, and I'm going to pull up that document. When you're looking for a real estate property manager, there are several key factors to consider to ensure that your property is well managed and valuable. And I'm just going to read some of these. So, and then weigh in with questions on what you've had and experiences is what you've had with your property manager. Because as you grow, even if you only have 1 or 2 properties, you might be managing them yourself. I managed all of my doors myself while still in law school. And then while working as an attorney, I think I got up to about 20 doors before I just was too overwhelmed and I hired my first employee. And then I grew a little bit. I think I grew to like 30 or 40 doors. And then I hired my second employee. And then I finally filed for the entity and created the management company. And then after that, we hired a full-time maintenance guy. And then it just blew up from there. And now the structure is we have several maintenance guys. We have we have several real estate agent leasing agents. We have a bookkeeper. We have full-time, during COVID, we have a full-time liaison that helped us with all the money that we got from all the different agencies that we're paying for relief funds. And then, of course, we have like the office manager. So, and then we me and my partners, we also help run the day-to-day to an extent. But for the most part, I try to stay out of it. Some of my other partners try to stay very much in it, but I think that's it's not a good long-term plan at all. It's not even a good short-term plan. We absolutely have to get out of it, or else we'll never get out of it. So that's what we're trying to work with now. There's a comment. A homeless couple moved into a vacant unit they had. What state was that in? Because that could very much be a disaster. I'm just thinking like California, you might be stuck with them for years. Texas, we can get them out pretty easy. Yeah, it was in California. They're probably still there. They probably permanently get to live there for the rest of their life on your dime. And you probably get in trouble if you cut off anything. That's one thing you can't do. You can't go like self-help. You can't go like turn off the utilities and cut everything off and try to force them out. Like if people move into your house, they have rights. It's just crazy. And then if you're in a blue state, you're really screwed. So I don't recommend investing. I'm not going to get political with you guys, but if you can, try not to invest in real estate in a tenant-friendly state. Just stay away from it. Stay out of California, stay out of New Mexico, even Colorado. Stay out of a lot of these states. Florida's great, Texas, any of these southern states are fantastic, all very landlord-friendly. You want the judges, you want the legal system on your side. You don't want people just destroying your property and not having a legal recourse. You don't want to buy into millions of dollars of real estate and have it trashed because you don't have legal recourse to take care of the property that you actually have your name on. Yeah, just try to stay away from those kind of states. Texas is fantastic, you guys. Very, very landlord friendly. So, oh, good, they got their property back. I'm just reading the comments. I like that. Arizona's good. Yeah, I've heard good things about Arizona. Arizona's been good. Uh, but real estate's political, and the judges and the policymakers of any given jurisdiction, they can absolutely crush your portfolio. They can ruin everything for you if you're not careful. Okay, keep sharing your stories. I'm interested in hearing what people have to say. Oh, wow, that's a good story. The property manager wanted to rent to a construction worker on a workman's comp that was convicted for a felony, for murder, just murder, and on probation with his girlfriend. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah, that's not a good property manager. That's just lazy. Property managers just being lazy. They just want to fill the property and get paid. But you know what's going to happen? They'll get paid once. They'll get paid once. They'll get them into the house. You're never going to see any money again. And then you're going to wait, who knows how many months to get them out. Texas is great. It takes, it's still a process. It's a 3-day notice, and then you go to court, which is usually 2 weeks out, and then you have your hearing. And if they still don't leave after you get your right of possession, you have to do a writ of possession, which is another 6 days. So if everything lines up and you're aggressive with it, 18 days, 19 days, way better than most states. And that's best case scenario, about 17, 18 days. Worst case scenario, maybe 30. So most states can't beat that. Most states aren't even close. So, but a lot of it comes back to your asset too, and your property manager. The better asset you're buying, the better class of property you're buying, and the better property manager you hire, you shouldn't have a lot of evictions. They're going to happen, especially if you have a lot of doors. Eventually they're going to happen. But you want to be prepared and be in a jurisdiction where it's easy if it does happen, because an eviction can cost you tons of money. I always tell my property manager when they're screening tenants that a vacancy, having a house vacant, is a lot cheaper than having a delinquent tenant that's just delinquent forever. So vacancies cost a lot less than perpetuity delinquents. So, okay, got off the rails there a little bit. I like seeing the comments, but keep them coming. So what to look for in a good property manager? Obviously experience. Look for a manager who possesses considerable experience in real estate management. The longer they've been in the industry, the more likely they are to understand the intricacies of property management and handle any challenges that might arise. I recommend you work with somebody that's attached to a good brokerage in your area. Because there's a lot of people that just hang up a shingle and they're like, oh, we're going to be a property manager. And I don't know about other states, but Texas requires any property management company to be monitored by a licensed real estate broker or an attorney. So I think most states are probably like that, but I'll tell you, there's so many property management companies that aren't, even if they're required to by law, they're not being run by a real estate broker. So when they're run by a real estate broker, the broker's license is on the line with the actions of the property management company, just like they are with the actions of the real estate agents under the real estate brokerage. Then they're also required to carry E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance, general liability insurance, and they're supposed to have like Norton antivirus, they're supposed to have really heavy screening requirements, all kinds of things that protect you as the client. So you want to find those kinds of brokers or those kinds of property management companies. So that's what I would recommend first off, and that's where your experience is going to come in. They're also going to be using licensed real estate agents to go out and lease your property. They're not just going to find some $10 an hour person to go out and lease your property that has no experience whatsoever with real estate. There's going to be a licensed real estate agent that's going to be paid a commission from you. You're going to pay that to lease your property. But paying that commission and paying those higher fees, you're going to get a way better tenant, and you're going to just be happier overall. So just like with everything, you get what you pay for. So that's what I would look for with experience. Number two, knowledge of all the local laws. So in Texas, every 2 years our legislative body meets, and that's when all the laws are updated. So you want a brokerage or a property management company that focuses on that uses all the proper forms, all the proper contracts, all the proper addenda, that's updated by the current law all the time. And you want somebody that knows the law to some extent. So I'm the broker of our property management company, but I'm also an attorney. So I'm able to help my people in all kinds of areas manage their property. So a seasoned property manager should be well-versed with local real estate laws and state laws and federal laws. You don't want a fair housing violation or lawsuit on your hands either. They should know how to handle matters related to tenant rights, property maintenance responsibilities, eviction processes, and more. And that's just huge, guys. There's a lot of property management companies that will just try to get you in the door and charge really low fees. So we charge 10% whether the property's full or vacant, 10% of what the rent should be. We are definitely one of the more expensive companies in town, and if that client thinks that we're too expensive, that's fine. We're not the good fit for them. But what happens is they'll go to another company for several months or the first tenant, and then they just come back to us anyway. So you absolutely get what you pay for. Don't try to find the cheap. You've got this great asset. You've got millions of dollars of real estate. You're going to hand it to the gatekeeper, the person that's going to make your wealth for you. Don't find somebody that's going to be discount cheap. They're not going to do the level of work that you want. You want to pay, we charge 10%, sometimes more, depending on what we're dealing with. And that way we can pay our staff what they should be paid, and they're happy to be there. There's less turnover. Like our maintenance guys, for example, we charge one of our guys, so he's HVAC certified, plumber certified, just he's fantastic. He's our head guy, and he makes $35 an hour here in Lubbock, Texas, which is pretty high rate for Lubbock, Texas. But if my clients were to call, if we had to call a plumber out or an HVAC technician out for any of these properties, they're going to charge $70 or $80 an hour for the same job. This guy is even higher skilled, and he's in-house. So us charging more allows us to pay really good people high amounts. But but then in the long run, we're saving our clients a lot of money because we're not having to call outside contractors that charge double or more than double. So they might be paying more on the front end for our fees, but they're paying a lot less in maintenance and other expenses. So because we're able to pass off our earnings to good employees. So that's what good companies do. So find good companies that do that kind of have that kind of policy. Good communication skills. Your property manager should be able to communicate with you. You should be able to call them, and they should be able to call you, and you should understand what the problems are. They should provide regular property reports and be approachable for discussions and negotiations. That's what's great about Appfolio. Every single client has an owner's portal that attaches all their properties. They can see their tenant's ledger. They can see everything they want to see in real time. They can see their general ledger in real time. They don't have to call us for anything because they can just look it up any time of day or night they want to. That is huge. And then if they do have a question, they can just take that form and just say, hey, I have a question about this charge. What happened? And for us, what we do on our maintenance, for example, we have everybody go to Home Depot. We only use Home Depot. Sometimes we use a few other companies, but we like to use Home Depot because Home Depot is set up in a way that we use a text to confirm system. One of us gets a text of what our maintenance guy is buying, and then the text that we get goes into a receipt system into Appfolio automatically, and then we're able to attach that receipt to the owner's ledger. So they can, so if they see a charge of, oh, there's a $280 supply charge, what was that for? They can click it and they can pull up the receipt and see exactly what we paid for that property. The address is on there, everything is on there on the receipt, so they can have it for their records. That way, it just eliminates a lot of headache and a lot of calls, and it's just full transparency as well. So it makes a big difference in that communication. Not just oral communication, but you just want to have that online presence so they can just pull up their data whenever they want to. And then it's just helpful for your own properties too, like if you're self-managing, just to have that level of bookkeeping and just your data in there, and then it's super easy come tax season. It's all there. You just send it to your CPA and it's done. Marketing skills. You want somebody that's actually going to lease your property and pre-lease your property and have your vacancy rate low. A competent manager will be able to market your properties effectively to attract potential tenants. This includes creating compelling listings and making use of various marketing channels, including online portals, social media, and real estate networks. Appfolio is great. It has what it'll do is when you put a house live on the website to be rented, it will go to dozens and dozens of different websites, including Realtor.com. I think Zillow is separate. You have to do them separate. But when we attach it to, we put it in our MLS system, and then it'll attach to Zillow. So that's good. That's what's good. Another good reason to have a broker behind it is because they can put your properties on the MLS as well for other real estate agents to make money that way. So yeah, you just want the reach. You want the reach. You want people that are paying for the good software to get your property marketed properly. Maintenance and repair management. A suitable property manager should have a network of reliable contractors who can swiftly and competently handle repairs and regular maintenance on your property. So in our contracts that we use a TREC contract, the Texas Real Estate Commission contract. I recommend whatever state you're in that you use the contract, the lease agreement that your real estate commission provides. You may not be able to use it if you aren't a broker or a real estate agent. So that's why, from a property management standpoint, you should use a broker. But if you're doing it all on your own, you should go online and get your individual state's real estate commission lease and use that lease as a guide to create your personal lease. Because that all the law of your state's going to be in there, and it's going to be updated anytime your legislative body meets. So that's what I recommend you do, and then that way, and then just download the property code for your area as well. Then you need that'll help you understand the laws and regulations around your maintenance and repairs, because there's a lot of things that you're absolutely required to repair, and there's a lot of things you can actually defer. You don't want to defer too much because happy tenants pay their rent, so you don't want to just like be super cheap and not fix stuff, but you also can't just like fix every little thing that every tenant wants you to fix either. There's some things that can be deferred a little while, but there are some things that you absolutely have to repair no matter what, and that's just by property code. You cannot sit on that. Like, for instance, everybody probably has to fix hot water within like a day or two. So just be mindful of those kind of things. Property inspection, make sure that you have a property manager that does property inspections. That's going to help you a ton. It's going to save you money, just knowing that your business manager, your property manager, your real estate agents are actually checking your houses. That goes with paying the right fees. If you're trying to get an undercut fee of like 5-6%, that property management company is not going to afford. They're not going to be able to afford the right people to just do everything you want them to do. You can't pay a property management company a low monthly percent and expect them to be able to handle everything. They won't have enough money to hire the right people. So get that out of your head. If you're frustrated because you're paying 5% property management fee and stuff's not getting done, it's because you're paying 5% management fee. It's not a profit. Property management companies don't make a ton of money. And they're losing money or barely breaking even if it's low. So you want to pay for, you want to get a company that you're paying well so they can actually take care of your property. You want property managers that are available and responsive. You don't want them to be just like, you don't want to call them and have them not call you back. That happens all the time. But you also need to understand it's not a hotel. They work 9 to 5 and they go home. We have through Appfolio, we have an emergency contact for maintenance, emergency maintenance, but that's it. We don't, our property management company, we train our clients from the very beginning that we aren't available after 5 and we aren't available on the weekends. It's just, we can't operate that way, but we do have, our tenants have the option to call people 24/7 no matter what. But we run it like a business and there are boundaries. And it works. It's not trying to like scapegoat and not be available all the time for our clients. It's that we want happy workers. And if we're requiring our property managers to work, well into the evening and on the weekends, we're not going to keep good people. So that's why we have that policy. Financial management. Very, very good financial management tools. And like I said, your clients, or you, if you're a client of your property manager, then you can go on and look and see what's happening with your property at any time. You want to check the reviews and references and make sure they're good. This is a tough one because you'll get tenants that are, getting evicted, or deadbeats, or, the felon that, that murdered somebody, that will go on and leave your company a bad review. It happens all the time, and it's so hard to get them off. And it's so funny how you'll see a bad review and it'll be somebody just slamming you and your company, and then you'll go to their tenant ledger and it shows that they haven't paid in 3 months, and they're blaming you that you haven't fixed something when they're $4,000 behind. That's happened a couple times. So reviews are good, but also with property management, because it is so thankless, keep an open mind and know that tenants are just gonna, that happens. And then fee structure. Analyze the fee structure. Make sure that it's good and reasonable. I think ours is pretty reasonable. Like I said, we charge 10% whether the property's occupied or vacant. Obviously, we under our property code, we have a duty to lease property as quickly as possible. But we don't want to just collect money off of a vacant property. That's not being good stewards of our clients' property. So we try to fill it with a good person as quickly as possible. And then we charge on the leasing, we charge $500 to lease the property. Some people charge a full month's rent, which is fine. We just charge $500, and then you just go along your way. And then we screen really heavy. It's tough. We try to get over a 600 credit score and some other things, but we do take it case by case, because there's different times. Before COVID, it was a lot easier. A lot of people's credit got shot during COVID, and so we take it a little bit different, more case by case than we used to. But just find somebody that has a good fee structure that you understand. Don't let them nickel and dime you. The only thing that we add that I wouldn't say nickel and dime, but we have fuel charges for our maintenance guys. That was something we added about 2 years ago. So for every call they go to, we charge a $6 fuel charge round trip, and then we pay for all of our maintenance guys' gas. So we don't make any money off of that. That's just so our maintenance guys can fuel up and take care of it that way. So, but just make sure you're within the law on that and what you do. So, remember, the selection process should involve careful research and interviews to determine the fit between you and the potential property manager. You might have to go through a couple, which is a hassle. So Wendy asked, so that's the list. So we can go through some questions now. We have a little bit left. What is the common markup for repairs, or is there one? The only thing that we just mark up. So like depending on who goes, so like our head maintenance guy, he gets paid $35 an hour, which is a good living wage for this guy, but he's highly skilled, highly skilled. So we think it's very worth it, because like I said, like the plumbers and HVAC companies that are going to send somebody out, they're $70 to $100 an hour. So we're still saving our clients a ton of money, and ourselves a ton of money, by paying this guy a lot. And if you guys have been around contractors, the turnover rate's really high. So if you find a really good guy, to pay them well. So we do a $5 fee. So like he's $35, we charge our clients $40. So we make a little bit of money off of him just to manage him. And then of course, per work order that he goes out to, it's $6. And that's just him. Like a lot of our other guys are only $20 an hour. That they're not as highly skilled. And I think we have some guys that are $17 an hour. Like our painters are a little less. The higher the skill, the more we pay. The more certifications, the more we pay. And it's usually only, like if the $20 an hour guys, we charge $25 to our clients. So it's a very low markup. We do no markup on our supplies. We do exactly what the Home Depot or Lowe's or Sutherland's or whatever receipt says. No markup anywhere else. Those are the only fees that we charge. So look for people that are very transparent with their fees, and they'll tell you exactly what they're paying their people and then their markup on it as well. And like I said, the fuel charge was something we just recently added. That was when gas was like, almost $4 a gallon, and it was just really getting tough to. We were losing money, and we can't be in business if we're losing money, so we had to add that charge. So, and I've noticed like on every other contractor we use, because we use a lot of independent contractors too when our guys are tied up, and every company does that as well. They'll charge upwards of $8 or $9 for fuel charges. So I'm sure that's become very common across the board. But just ask for a fee sheet, and they should be able to tell you everything that you have going on. That's the end of that list. I can send that list to anybody that wants it. Just ask, and I'll send it out to you, just what to look for in a property manager. If you're in your market and you invest in your own market and you can't find a property management company that suits you, create your own. Once you get enough properties, hire your first employee and create your own property management company. You may have to get a broker's license, become a real estate agent, become a broker, or just be sponsored under one. But that's a good option. But I think a lot of you are probably distant landlords, so you just got to find your right person. And hopefully this will help you. But any other questions? We've got about 15 minutes. A little quicker today. I promised you guys it'd be quicker. But I'll just stay on a minute or two and see if there's any questions. If not, we'll just wrap it up. We'll wrap up week 9. Selena asked, what is the CPA in Texas? That's just the certified public accountant. You just want a good accountant in town. And who I recommend in Texas. So I use a company called HCH Plus T. They're local, but they work with clients all over the state. HCH Plus T. HCH Plus T. They are a very, very good accounting firm, and they are very friendly to real estate investors. You're welcome. Any other questions? Do you have a real estate attorney as well? Yeah, the guy that I use here in town, and he's statewide as well. In fact, he just argued a case in front of the Supreme Court, so he's amazing. His name is Fernando Bustos, and that's who I use for everything. He's a good friend of mine, super honest. He's not cheap, but he's the best. And Wendy's looking for recommendations for property management in San Antonio. Just, Wendy, reach out to me on Circle, and I'll send you this sheet. And then you can start calling around some. San Antonio is probably going to have some big real estate brokerages that have some property management extensions to them. That's what I would go for, because then you're going to get protected. That broker that, like, if you go to a big like Coldwell Banker or a Keller Williams and they have a property management extension, that broker that manages that brokerage is also going to be responsible under their license to manage your property correctly. It's going to cost you more, but you're going to be protected under the law. No broker wants to lose their license because they're mismanaging your real estate. And that's why I recommend paying the higher fees and getting somebody that's under licensure, regulated by like for Texas, they'd be regulated by the Texas Real Estate Commission, which is tough. I mean, they're tough on they're tough on us, which is good. Keeps us very, very transparent. All right, guys, I am on the Circle app. Definitely reach out and answer any questions you guys have. That was week 9, and we will see you next time.